Parenting shapes who we become. It's the foundation we build our lives on. Every parent, every single one of us brings their own story, their own experiences to the table when raising their children. And you know as well as I do that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. But isn't it fascinating how different styles of parenting can shape a child's life? Today we're going on a journey to explore 5 distinct parenting styles, diving deep into their impact on children's lives. Because when we understand these styles, when we truly see their nuances, we empower ourselves to raise happy, healthy children who thrive. Now let's start with a parenting style that many experts believe brings out the best in children: authoritative parenting. Think of those parents who set clear boundaries, who have those non-negotiables, but do it with so much warmth, so much love in their hearts. They're firm, yes, but they're also nurturing, responsive to their children's needs. They understand that discipline is not about punishment, it's about teaching, about guiding those precious little ones towards making responsible choices. These parents, they create an environment where communication flows both ways. They listen, they really listen to their children's perspectives, even when they disagree. It's about respecting their children as individuals, even as they guide them. And the impact? Oh, it's profound. Children raised with authoritative parenting tend to blossom. They have this inner confidence, this high self-esteem that just shines through. They do well in school, not because they're pressured, but because they've internalized that love of learning. And you see it in their friendships, in their relationships. They have these strong social skills and empathy that draws people to them. Now, our next parenting style, authoritarian parenting, it's where rules are front and center. These parents, they believe in structure, in obedience, and they hold on to those reins tightly. They have high expectations, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's the why behind the rules that makes a difference. You see, with authoritarian parenting, there's often less room for open dialogue, for children to express their feelings or question decisions. It's because I said so, and that can be tough for a child to process. They may follow the rules, but it's often out of fear of punishment, not a true understanding of why those rules are in place. And over time, that dynamic, it can take a toll. Children raised in this environment, they might struggle with self-esteem. They might be more prone to anxiety because they're constantly afraid of making a mistake, of displeasing their parents. Decision-making? That can be a challenge too because they haven't had as many opportunities to flex those independent muscles. Chapter 3. Permissive parenting. An abundance of love, a lack of limits. Let's shift gears now and talk about permissive parenting. Now this style, it's all about love, about nurturing, about giving their children the freedom to explore who they are. These parents, they're incredibly responsive, always there to offer a hug, a shoulder to cry on. They're their child's biggest cheerleader, and that's a beautiful thing. But here's the catch. Sometimes in their desire to be their child's best friend, boundaries can get blurred. Rules might be more like suggestions, and consequences, well, they might not be as consistent. Don't get me wrong, there's so much beauty in this nurturing environment. Children raised with permissive parents, they often have these incredible imaginations. They're creative, free spirits, and that's something to be celebrated. But as they venture out into the world, they might find it challenging to navigate situations where rules are non-negotiable. Self-discipline, that ability to delay gratification, to work towards a goal, those are muscles that need to be exercised. And sometimes, permissive parenting doesn't always provide those opportunities. Chapter 4. Neglectful parenting, the silent struggle. This next parenting style, neglectful parenting, it's a difficult one to discuss, but it's a reality for some children, and we need to shed light on it. Now neglect, it's not always intentional. Sometimes parents are dealing with their own struggles, their own traumas, and they just don't have the emotional bandwidth to give their children what they need. But regardless of the reason, the impact on a child can be devastating. Imagine growing up in a home where your basic needs are met. You have food, you have shelter, but that emotional connection, that loving embrace, it's just not there. These children, they often carry a profound sense of loneliness, of feeling invisible. They might struggle to regulate their emotions because they haven't had that consistent, loving presence to guide them. Self-esteem? It can plummet because they internalize that lack of attention, that lack of engagement as a reflection of their own worth. Chapter 5. Uninvolved parenting, a void of connection. Uninvolved parenting. It's a style marked by distance, by a lack of emotional engagement. Now, it's important to distinguish this from neglectful parenting. In some cases, uninvolved parents might provide for their children's basic needs: food, shelter, education. But the emotional connection, the guidance, the support, it's just not there. It's almost as if these parents are living parallel lives, their own paths seldom intersecting with the lives of their children. They might be physically present, but emotionally, they're miles away. And you can imagine the toll this takes on a child. Imagine craving your parents' attention, their approval, only to be met with indifference, with a lack of interest. It's like speaking into a void, your words echoing back, unanswered. Children from uninvolved homes, they often struggle to form secure attachments. They might have difficulty regulating their emotions because they haven't had that consistent, loving presence to guide them. Outro parenting, a journey of love and learning. You know, when we look at these different parenting styles, it's clear that there's no one right way to raise a child. But what we can all agree on is that children thrive on love, on structure, on guidance. It's about finding that delicate balance between setting boundaries and giving our children the space to blossom into their authentic selves. And remember, dear parents, this journey of parenthood, it's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's about being there for our children, through the triumphs and the tears, with an open heart and a listening ear. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more parenting tips and advice.